Hi, Awesomes. Welcome back to Sorta Awesome. I'm your host, Meg Tietz, and friends, buckle up and get ready to enjoy the ride. This does not happen very often. In fact, it's not nearly often enough, but we have, in fact, gotten the band back together. I am here today with some longtime besties for me and for y'all, too, especially if you are an old school awesome. I'm joined today by Ms. Rebekah Hoffer. Hi, Rebekah. And of course, Kelly Gordon is here. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Meg. Hey, awesomes.
And Sorta Awesome alum Laura Tremaine is back on the show. Hi, Laura.
I'm back!
Podcaster emeritus.
Yes, exactly. We were just about to talk about how much we miss each other. And I was like, no, wait, let's push record and let's get this recorded for the people. But Laura, truly, we do this, the vibe, the sitting down, the catching up. Of course, we do that sometimes offline. We text and we have Voxer and those types of things. But to get to sit with our mics on, our cameras on, and talk, Laura, thanks for bringing us back together with this.
I miss y'all so much all the time. And if I am allowed to say, I hope this isn't a secret that I'm spilling, but we do have an OG Sorta Awesome Voxer thread.
Yes, we do.
And I love it so much when y'all's names pop up in my Voxer, in that thread particularly, because I know that the conversation is going to be funny.
Yeah.
And interesting. And it just feels like this warm, fuzzy comfort of old friends. And I just love it. Our voices together makes me so happy.
Yes.
There's a familiarity for sure. Yeah.
I'm just like, I feel like I'm just like in waves of nostalgia right now. It feels so good. And Awesomes, I hope that you're vibing with us too. If you are new to Awesome, you may not know that Laura was a co-host, a founding co-host from back in the beginning days from 2015 to 2017. I think through the end of 2017 feels right.
Who knows?
What are calendars? Who knows? But Laura, you are not here just to bring the nostalgia back. We have a particular reason for our conversation today. You have a new book that's just about to come out into the world. Kelly and Rebekah and I have gotten a little preview, of course, and we're going to be talking about that. This is your second book. Tell us a little, give the people the preview that they need to know right now.
Okay, I'm so excited that my second book is coming out because when I stepped away from Sorta Awesome back in the day, it was with a heavy heart, but it was because I wanted to write books.
Yes.
That's right. Yes.
And I don't know that I actually thought I was going to do it.
Oh, but it's true.
Here we are on my second book, and it is called The Life Council, 10 Friends Every Woman Needs. And it is about friendship, which is something I talk a lot about online, on social media, on my own podcast. Like, it is a topic that has come up over and over again over all my years of like back from blogging days. Adult friendship and what is hard about it, what is awkward about it, what is the etiquette around it. Like, it's come up over and over again. And so after my first book, Share Your Stuff, I'll Go First, was about connection, it felt like the next natural step was this book called The Life Council, because it's looking at our friendships in a different way, in a fresh way, I hope, because we can really get mired down in all of the lack that we have in friendship. Like we think, oh, I don't have an old friend. I don't have a soul sister. Like, we think these things that we see in movies and TV and even on social media that we just are noticing a lot of times the things we don't have.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to write this book about looking at our existing landscape. This book is not a directive to go make all new friends at all. It's like the opposite of that, actually.
Yeah.
To look around at the people already in your life and see them as almost like a board of directors would be for a company. When you put together a board of directors for a company, you pick people with different strengths, someone who's really good financially, someone who's really creative, someone who's like great with customer service or whatever the business is. If we did that in our life and could see the different like strengths and energies and value of the people that are already there, it fills us with abundance instead of the lack.
Yeah.
And so in the 10 friends that I lay out, I do these sort of 10 archetypes of types of people, types of friendships that you could have. And these are the ones that are in my life, but I'm really hoping that the reader is reading and maybe seeing how their life looks different, what their different seats might look like.
Yes.
It should also be noted that this comes from partially a Sorta Awesome episode.
It does. If you're sitting there thinking 10 friends every woman needs, why does that sound so familiar? This is such a full circle moment because this is an actual conversation we had on Sorta Awesome years and years ago. As you awesomes know, we've been talking about friendship for a long time because it is such an important part, plays such an important role in the lives of so many women. So we've been talking about it for a while. And yes, here it has bloomed into a whole book. So it's all very full circle right now.
I thank you for letting me take that concept from an episode and really running with it. The 10 friends that I write about in the book they don't match up exactly to that episode, but a lot of the same ideas and thoughts that we talked about years and years ago show up here in my book. And then also the whole concept of the book came from an internet friend who's now a real life friend that is in a group with how I got to know Kelly and how Meg and I deepened our own friendship. Our friend Chris-Ann is the one who popped up with this idea of a life council. And so as I'm talking about the book, I'm trying to give credit where credit is due. I did not coin the phrase. Chris-Ann let me run with the phrase, the life council. Meg let me run with the subtitle, 10 friends every woman needs. Book writing, it's a collaboration, you guys.
It is. It's a communal effort for sure. Yes. We have so much good friendship talk that we're going to get into today. We are so excited to have Laura back. I know you guys are excited to hear from her here again on Sorta Awesome. So I cannot wait to do all of this catching up in friendship talk right here on Sorta Awesome. Welcome back, Awesomes, to the show that loves to support you in becoming smart, strong, and social. If you have been looking for amazing women to connect with and a community that will support you, no matter what age or stage of life you are in, I'm really happy to tell you that you've come to the right place because Sorta Awesome is not just a podcast. It's also your community on the go. And we would love to have you connect with us outside of your podcast app in one of our communities on social media. That's where the real community stuff happens. So come and find us on Instagram at Awesome Show. On Facebook, you can come and find us in the Sorta Awesome Hangout. We'll have links in the show notes for all of that. We would love to have you connect with us. Oh, and by the way, we're on YouTube now, you guys. How do you feel about being YouTube stars, ladies?
Stars might be a stretch.
It's generous, but
yeah, we can run with that. That's okay though. It's a whole new thing though. Yeah. You guys, I just got a ring light.
Yes, Kelly has a ring light, everybody.
Yes. Welcome to the 2000s, Kelly Gordon. It is a whole new world. I'm watching modern TV. I got a ring light. How do I say this? We record wherever we are.
Yeah,
that's been the tradition.
Are you throwing shade at me, Kelly?
Because
yes,
a basement office is like way better than
the closet.
With literal clothes hanging behind me.
It's just moved.
Yeah, Rebekah's even moved
for the sake of video.
Yes,
because of the video. The video is making us up our game. It's making us into better people, better podcasters.
I don't know that there's much to be improved on. We're all professionals here. But we are on YouTube now. So if you would like to watch the episodes as well as listen, you're welcome.
You can watch all of our antics. You can watch my ring light fall over. Like there are Easter eggs if you watch the YouTube. So it might be a good thing.
Okay, but wait, are the YouTube episodes first of all, I did not know this.
Sorry.
Hi, welcome.
Didn't send you your video release.
Welcome to YouTube.
But second of all, what do you do about the things that we need to cut? We have never had an episode together where there wasn't a substantial chunk that needed to be cut out. So what do you do?
Okay, thankfully, and the reason that we are doing video now is because I'm using a software called Descript, which people in this industry might be familiar with. It's a video-based editor. It uses AI and video, so I can go through and just make cuts straight out of, if I know what the parts are that need to be cut, I can do it so fast. And so that is why we are able to. I won't get into the nitty-gritty. Kelly knows what I'm talking about, I'm sure. But yeah, it's like it's not this crazy amount of time spent editing video. I can go in and make cuts really quickly. So, yeah.
So you're saying I don't need to suddenly watch every single thing?
No. Still a little editing magic will be applied. No worries.
Good.
Okay. Again, that's youtube.com/sortaawesome if you want to watch the videos. Let's go ahead, you guys, and start this show the way we always do with our Awesomes of the Week. We all do have Awesome of the Week. So as per usual with the group show, you're getting like twice the amount of awesome here at Awesome of the Week. If you're new to Awesome of the Week is the moment in the show where we stop and talk about whatever's making life a little more awesome right now. It could be a book or TV show, music, movie, podcast, products, whatever's bringing that extra gold, shiny sparkle to our days. Rebekah, let's start with you, my friend. What do you have for Awesome of the Week?
I am bringing something that I actually am finding quite annoying and obnoxious, which sounds very unawesome, but that's just because it's doing its job. It is a productivity app. It's called One Sec.
Okay, tell us everything.
Calling me out very effectively. So I heard about this app on TikTok, and the app is designed to stop you from just unconsciously or obsessively opening an app, probably social media, or maybe it's a game that you're really addicted to. I connected mine to TikTok because for me, that's the app where I can lose the most time the quickest. For somebody else, maybe it's Instagram, maybe it's a game. So after I set it up, every time that I click on TikTok to open the app, I am redirected to a screen telling me to take a deep breath. And then after a 6-second delay, I am asked if I truly do want to open TikTok or if perhaps I've changed my mind. It also shows me how many times I have tried to open TikTok in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
Since the last time I opened up TikTok.
I both hate and love this idea.
Same. This is the worst Awesome of the Week I have ever brought to the show.
Does it connect?
But it works because.
Does it connect to more than one app?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay, you can use the free version to just connect to one app. But if you pay, then there's other features that you can unlock, and you can do it for $15 a year. So it's not that much. But since I have been using this, I have decreased the amount of times I've opened TikTok by 9%. Wow. So it is working.
Oh my gosh.
And I will say I was doing TikTok with my son Noah, and then we left the app, and then we had to go back in, and the take a deep breath thing came up, and he was like, oh my goodness, Mom, does it do this every single time? This is annoying. I was like, yes, it does. That is the point.
It's like hybrid of annoying you into like mindfulness, right? Like it's just going to pester you until you're like, okay, fine, I will be mindful and think about if I intentionally want to get back on TikTok. Oh my gosh, this is brilliant and well worth $15 a year to get some of your time and attention and focus back.
Or even free. Or even free.
Right.
But if you do the paid version, you can have it remind you of other things that you maybe should be doing instead.
Gosh.
Have you exercised? Or have you read a book?
What?
Do you need a drink of water? Maybe instead of opening TikTok, drink a glass of water.
Wow.
I hate that feature. That feature sucks.
I hate the whole thing. I haven't paid for it. I already hate the app enough as it is. I don't need to hate it more.
I agree with you. This does sound like the worst Awesome of the Week that will change your life in the best possible way.
It's called One Sec.
Perfect.
Except it's actually 6 seconds. So whatever.
I love it. Thank you, Rebekah. We will put a link in the show notes for you guys to go check that out if you also want to be annoyed into being intentional with your life. All right, Kelly, how about you? What's awesome for you this week?
In keeping with the new profile of Kelly, I am bringing a modern TV show, you guys.
Another one?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Who even are you?
Wow. I guess I have an MO. Not undeservedly, because that's it. Like I'm still...
Didn't you bring the Brady Bunch one year?
I did not. Hello.
I think
you have
did.
talked about the Brady Bunch.
I've talked about the Brady Bunch. I've talked about Days of Our Lives, which started 50 years ago. So I have an MO. But this show, this is so new that as you are listening, Awesomes, it has just come out. So I'm talking about this show right now as we are recording, having only seen trailers, having seen all the trailers. that are available to me because I'm so excited about it. So it's a show that's coming out on Netflix. It debuts on March 30th. So if you're listening to it and it's after that, it's out now for you. It is called Unstable.
Okay. And
it stars Rob Lowe. He's bringing some serious.
Lowe.
I do love Rob Lowe. And that dates me a little bit too, but he is gorgeous. I love his characters. If you read some of his writing, he's written books. He's a very good communicator. He's a great podcast host. I just really like him as a person. Yeah. But this show, Unstable, he is doing with his son, John Owen Lowe. And if you've ever followed Rob Lowe or seen anything on TikTok, they have a very funny relationship in social media because Rob is so public and John is an introvert and is not. And so he's really always poking fun at his dad's hair, his dad's ego, things like that. So they decided to make a show out of it. So they play father and son on this show, Unstable. The synopsis is that Rob plays Ellis Dragon, a universally admired, super eccentric, narcissistic biotech entrepreneur who's working to make the world a better place. He's definitely, if you watch the trailers, a glass half full sort of person, but he's also at the moment in an emotional free fall. He cannot come up with new ideas. He's losing his sense of self. The board of his company is getting really worried about him. He's doing like super crazy things. So they call his son Jackson Dragon, who is the opposite of his father and is estranged after the death of his mother, his wife. And so he gets called back into the company to see if he can try to stabilize his dad. Okay. And of course, then their relationship isn't able to be salvaged. So there's a lot of real life poking that's happening here in some of the trailers that I've watched. They're joking. I can't imagine having a dad who's a narcissist who is like always posting and talking about himself. So there's a lot of this sort of energy that goes into it. And it just looks fun. If you have loved Rob Lowe's podcast, if you liked him in Parks and Rec, which Chris Traeger being like, I feel like there's a part of Chris Traeger that lives in me.
Feel the same way. I really do.
Oh my gosh. Loved one of my very favorite characters ever in a sitcom. Even back to The West Wing, whatever, if you've seen Rob Lowe in, I think you know what he's the type of acting, the type of character he's going to be bringing to the show. So I'm super excited. Again, as I'm talking about it, I'm making it my Awesome of the Week. I haven't seen it besides trailers, but you can now go watch it. Unstable on Netflix. It's available.
That sounds so great. I genuinely do feel like the character of Chris Traeger is your twin flame, Kelly. I feel like y'all exist in the same.
It is literally like I hear that in my head all the time. And when I watch him, for spring break, when we went to Florida, I was watching Parks and Rec's episodes on plane. And my daughter looks at me and she's, you have a stupid grin on your face, right? Not in a mean way, but she was like, you're just like, and I was like, yeah, I can't help it. It was like also the perfect season that they were playing. I don't know. Like, it's great. So I'm really excited about this show.
So good. So good. Thank you. Again, links in the show notes for you guys to go check that out. Laura, back to the Awesome of the Week segment. What have you brought for us, my friend?
I went really classic.
Okay.
Well, so I brought a lipstick.
Oh, good. Thank God. Nobody will come and talk to me about lipsticks on this show anymore. I have to, my friend Julie will come like once in a blue moon. But thank God we have lipsticks back in Awesome of the Week.
Meg's so relieved.
I'm so happy.
I felt like I had to give the people what they want, or maybe just what Meg wants. I don't know. But I care about this for a few reasons. One, I'm very passionate about the power of a strong and bold lipstick. I've talked about this a million times. I know Meg talks about this. I might have even learned this from Meg, or at least
we learned it from each other.
Yes. Learned it together.
Yeah,
back in show choir days when it was mandated. Need everyone to know it was mandated in the show choir where Meg and I became friends in high school that we wear a very particular Mary Kay red stage lipstick.
Wow.
Yep. We all had to wear the same lip, and it was Mary Kay. I cannot remember the shade name now, but I do remember that we all had to have that one. Yeah.
The same one, which, and we were a variety of skin tones and colorings and hair color and everything back then. It was universally flattering, actually.
It was a great red. Thank you, Mary Kay. But please do tell us about the one you brought today.
Anyway, through all this time, I have believed in the power of a bold lipstick to just up your mood, elevate your outfit. I wear sweatshirts almost every day of my life, but with a bold lip. Also, I'm on camera a lot on social media or like recording or whatever. And let me tell you, this is no shade to anyone on this particular recording, but a bold lip looks really good on camera.
Yep.
It certainly
So anyways,
does.
I go through different ones over the years that I really gravitate towards. And some of my very favorites have been discontinued over the last couple of years. I really love the brand Fenty. Made an excellent bold lip that they discontinued the whole line. So I have been looking for a perfect, I like a fuchsia color, but a perfect formula is what really matters in bold lipsticks, as much as the shade does matter, but also I don't want it to be too dry. I wear matte mostly, even though matte lipsticks can be aging sometimes. And I've actually noticed it on my own face as my lips get thinner or whatever, that matte lipsticks can sometimes not nail it. Yeah. But I'm wearing matte a lot because I'm talking, I'm drinking, I'm whatever. I don't want it to budge. And I like just the way that looks. So the one that I found, it's a little bit pricey, but I'm just not apologizing for it because when you find the perfect thing,
yes,
you go with it. And
spend
also,
the money. Yes.
Yeah. And also lipsticks last a very long time. I mean, so this is Pat McGrath. If you know the Pat McGrath, like if you're ever in Sephora or wherever and they have Pat McGrath, she's a great brand. I really love the stuff she puts out. It's on the pricier side for sure. I have this on right now.
It's so gorgeous. Like I noticed really as soon as you came on camera, your lips are amazing.
Thank you. I don't know that it's universally flattering like a red would be, but it is definitely flattering if you have a lighter skin tone or blonde hair like I do. My blonde hair is fake. It doesn't matter. It's called Full Panic is the shade.
Okay.
And it's the matte formula. It's in a black little tube. I'm holding it up. I'll also put it on social. And y'all, like really good lipstick. It'll change your day. It will.
Yes, it will. It will change your day. It will change how other people experience you. It will change how you experience yourself. There will never not be a day when I'm not out there evangelizing in the streets for a great bold lip. I'm not wearing a bold today, though. I let us all down. I just put on just a neutral. I apologize. I'm sorry to myself, first of all.
You apologize. I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah, we will put a link in the show notes. It really does look so pretty on you for sure. So I have to go check that out. Okay, my awesome of the week this week is, as you all are listening, especially if you're listening on the day that this episode drops, I'm not in Oklahoma City. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I am with my sisters, my daughter, and 2 close friends, and we are headed to the AT&T Stadium to share the experience with ourselves and 100,000 of our closest friends to see the one and only Ms. Taylor Swift as she opens her Dallas stop of the Eras tour. So obviously that is extremely awesome. It is. I'm going to go ahead and prognosticate that will be my awesome of the week next week. Maybe an awesome of the year. But to go along with this experience, and my actual awesome of the week that you can also experience alongside me is I have, for the first time in a long time, launched a little passion project. So as I was talking to friends, my friends who are going, other awesomes, about the Eras tour, which is Taylor Swift's tour this year, Eras, covering all of her eras, going back to 2006, a number of people were talking to me about how they felt so stressed. They didn't know what they were going to wear. They were feeling stressed about the logistics of a huge stadium concert in the post-pandemic era that we are all experiencing together. And just like, how do I plan this? How do I get my mind around it? What am I going to wear? So I put together this little project that is called Bejeweled, and it is a Substack. So it's like a newsletter. You will get, if you sign up, you do get newsletter updates. But also one thing I love about Substack is that all of those posts can live on Substack like a blog. And so you can go and check out the different outfit posts I'm going to put together. I have plans to do things like deep dive the songs that are in the set list for the Eras tour. I put together a Google Doc to help you plan your trip to wherever you're going. Inside that Google Doc, there's a link to a spreadsheet that I didn't create, but another Swiftie created that shows the whole set list, what songs are from what album, tracking the secret songs that she's performing at each stop. So if you like Taylor Swift and spreadsheets, you are going to be so happy about that. Yeah, I'm just super excited. Rebekah and I talked about this on the Awesome Overflow for March 2023 that just came out this week. And we were like toasting each other in our hyperfixations and how fun they can be, how much joy they bring to our life. So I'm really excited.
That's
so
really
you can
cool.
Sign up for it. Thank you. Thank you. It's totally free. Everything free about it.
I really love how you are going to be able to extend your experience. Indulging in this little passion project.
Yes. And I forgot to say that the subtitle for the Substack is it's the Eras Tour for moms, millennials, and more. And there's no shortage of ideas for what to wear to the concert on TikTok and YouTube, but a lot of them are for like women who are in their teens or like 20s, early 20s. And if that's just not your vibe, if you want something that's a little bit more, I don't know, you just feel more comfortable in, it's more appropriate for what you would feel good in at a concert, then this is the place for you. And I will be continuing it on, even though I'm going to the concert on March 31st, it will continue on through August. When the Eras Tour comes to a close, then Bejeweled will come to a close. So I'm really excited. I hardly ever create projects for myself with an actual end date. So this will be new.
Maybe that's good. Maybe, because it's starting it, but you're like, I also know how this is going to go and where it stops.
Yes, exactly. So you can sign up at megtietz.substack.com, and I will put a link in the show notes for that. You guys, we have so much friendship talk to get into. I cannot wait to dive into this, and we're going to get to all of that when we come right back. Okay, we are back, and this week we are so thrilled to have our Sorta Awesome alum, Laura Tremaine, here talking about her brand new book, The Life Council, which you shared a little bit about at the top of the show. And again, in the book, which is fantastic, you guys, I loved Laura's first book, and I love this book. I think, is it awkward to say I think I like The Life Council even more?
No, I'm getting a lot of reaction of that.
Okay.
People are saying it nicely. It's a little not awkward to receive it. Awkward isn't the right word because it's positive, but it's unusual to receive it because to me, the writer, Share Your Stuff is a much more personal book. And so that was more like my heart on the page. The Life Council is less personal. It's about friendship. So there's personal things in it, but like it's just it's not super deep soul stories that I've always wanted to tell. It's different. Right. And so hearing that people are responding to it more, it's also maybe a bit more universal than Share Your Stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Not everybody connects to the desire to share themselves. Mm-hmm. And so maybe they might also not have connected to a polka dot cover. It's not where any of us thought we would be.
I freaking love that cover. Do not get harsh that cover because that was amazing.
I loved the cover and it was very Instagrammable, but I am like,
I could see how, a certain reader may not pull it off the shelf at the bookstore.
That's what I mean. I'm honest about that. The cover itself you're either very attracted to it or maybe it's a little alienating. Unsure. The Life Council, which is just a broader topic, even though I get into the nitty gritty in the book, but in general, the topic is a little more universal. The cover is a little less polarizing.
Yeah.
So I am getting that. So it does not hurt my feelings that you say that at all. But also, you know what, Meg, if I may just say, your presence is felt on every page of the Life Council. So it's possible that you're like, this is fantastic.
It's a work of art. It's absolute and utter genius. That is so funny. But truly, I think it is so universal, the things that you talk about and just the concept. This really revolutionizes the way we can look at friendship. So I love it. But I know that you've been talking on a lot of podcasts and doing a lot of interviews and talking about this book and kind of having people share who fills these seats on their Life Council. But we thought this was your idea, Laura. Let's mix it up a little for the awesomes. They might like to hear a fresh take on it. So what we're going to do here in this first part of our discussion of it is each of us are going to talk about the seats that we fill on the Life Councils of our friends. So again, the concept is that we all have these seats on our Life Council and that we have our friends who fill those seats. And yet also we have to acknowledge Awesomes that we are on the life councils of many. So we thought that would be a fun way to approach the conversation. Let's see, Laura, since you've been talking, let's just go ahead and have you kick off this conversation. What seat do you find yourself filling on a life council for a friend?
Okay, I fill a lot of the seats that I write about. Like, I actually do fill them depending on your personality. Sometimes I'm like a fun yes friend. Sometimes like I'm a deep soul sister. Sometimes I'm a business bestie because I do have a business and need to talk about work. Like, I feel like most of us can be in these different roles at different times. That's like part of the whole life council thing.
Yeah.
But when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about here, I realized I do think I have a particular strength as a battle buddy.
Okay. Tell us all about that.
The life council seat that is the battle buddy is someone that you are going through something with. This can be as shallow or as deep as you make it, whatever your current battle is. Maybe it's a coworker in like a very sucky job. Maybe it's a fellow stay-at-home mom that you're both just in the trenches together. Maybe it's something a lot more serious, like a tragedy, a natural disaster kind of thing, a diagnosis, something like that. Someone that you are going through a thing with, and not everybody else understands that battle. So it's someone else who can really relate to the nuances and the complications of the particular battle that you're going through.
Yeah.
In the book, I write about my friend Amber Haynes as a battle buddy that we traveled internationally together. We went to Israel, we went to Haiti, and these were small trips. They were only a week or less trips. And so the quote unquote battle of that travel, it wasn't for years or anything like that. Your battle buddy can just be something that is a short time like this, but being really out of our comfort zone and doing this, navigating all of this, these things together on this trip, really cemented our bond. Like, it really is something that I don't share with anyone else than Amber. Very particular. We have a shorthand when we talk about those experiences together. So I think I have other battle buddies and I am a battle buddy. I think that I am good at being that type of friend.
Yeah.
Like, I really like to do the deep dive analysis of whatever the thing is we're going through and talk for hours about the thing, which I hope is a plus for my friend and for myself. I like never tire of the battle that we're going through. I like to be helpful. My personality type likes to be doing things, like, versus just always thinking about them. So I like, in whatever the battle situation is, to be have a plan, executing a plan, feeling like we're having some forward motion on whatever's happening. I like to give pep talks. Actually, I love to give pep talks. Y'all are nodding because I
Yes.
Really do. Yeah, you do. And you're good at it.
And I feel like that's something that a battle buddy needs, maybe, to be like, okay, we can do this. We are doing it. Like, that should be like on my gravestone. We did it.
We did it. Yes. Aww. Together.
And so no one wants to go through a battle, whatever your battle is, even if it's a silly battle, as sometimes they are. Sometimes we're going through something that is not as serious, or serious battles, like whatever it is. We all go through battles at some point. It is enormously, gives you so much comfort to have a battle buddy. And I just think that's where I fall for some people. If they look back at our friendship, I think that I might be named a battle buddy by several people for all kinds of reasons.
I honestly really do think that's where our friendship really took root. And it really was in that show choir rehearsal room. Like, we were going through a thing together. And I think that it can be the start of really lasting long time friendships, or it can be a friendship that was just for a season, but one that you just hold such strong affection for that you can always look back on. And we went through that together, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I really like the energy in friendship of we're in this together.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want people to have a battle. That part's hard.
Sure.
I'm not wishing battles on anyone. But I do, as like a bonding agent in some ways. Like, for me, that's helpful to be like, we're in it together. Like, we're doing this. I see you. You can do it. Like, all of that. I like that energy, not the hard part of that energy, but the healthy part of that energy.
I know Rebekah's over there right now saying, so you're talking about really a trauma bond, right? Rebekah and her trauma bond romance.
I didn't even think about that. Oh, poor Laura probably doesn't even know, but I am obsessed with romance novels where our hero and our heroine are thrown together in something really traumatic, and then they just fall in love because they can't help it. Oh,
Sometimes you might fall in love with your battle buddy. Let's be honest. Okay. Oh, that was so good. That was so good, Laura. And I know that is such an important role for so many of us in friendship, for sure. Let's hear from you. What is a seat that you fill on the life councils or councils in friendships in your life?
Yeah, and this is interesting too to think about how it may change over time.
Yeah,
totally. Especially there's the daily buddy sort of thing, like when you're in college or when you're in some of those mommy groups, when you're that sort of thing. But I feel like where I am right now, especially with friendship, and to some degree almost because of technology, because of the internet and the ways that we have to stay connected, I at this point am probably a soul sister for a lot of my good friendships. And as I was thinking about it, I thought I think that part of it is just because, and this maybe doesn't surprise the Awesomes. I don't know. It depends on how you see me. I love to go deep. Like I am immediately like, tell me what the real thing is. And I have very little qualm going deep myself, being the one to say, I'm really struggling here. This hard thing is happening. Like I am reading the room. I'm not telling the checkout clerk at Trader Joe's that my mom has Alzheimer's, although I might, if it feels like appropriate and if I can still bring the mood up and be like, well, my mom has Alzheimer's and she doesn't do anything anymore. But yesterday she sang happy birthday and that's why I'm buying this wine. Have a great day. Yeah. I might. I don't know. But of the friendships that I've made, especially in the last 5 to 6 years, and many of them have other pinpoints, like Laura said, it is the battle buddy. It is even like an obsessive or a work situation. But they always end up with this feeling that Laura describes with the soul sister, which is we have a connection. There's something that is almost like pulling us together. And we're just like, wait, why do I get you so quickly? There have been people, and I've told the story before on the podcast. I have a friend whose name is Jill, who I literally met in line at the apple orchard. And then we were thrown together like a week later. We were at a same event that we were attending. We had mutual friends and we didn't even know it. But even at the apple orchard, as we were talking, we were like, oh my gosh, we're having so much fun here. I guess we got to check out and go our respective ways. And then we got thrown together again. And then we started talking and we have all these things in common. And we were just like, what's happening in the universe? Yes. Like we are being pulled together. And I've had that experience with new friends in the last 6 years, numerous times. Yeah. And then once you start to look for it, it feels surely, and this has happened as I start to invest in other friendships that maybe didn't have the magical pull at the beginning, but you can see that there's something there. When you invest in a friendship, when you make that choice to be intentional and pursue that person where you're like, maybe we're not soul sisters yet, maybe it's more of a mentor relationship, but I think that we could be. You pursue it, you develop that kind of, this is really something special. This person gets me in a way that other people don't. And then you know that energy of what that person's going to bring to your life. So I just feel like when I look at all of my close relationships, that's the thing that they have in common is this deeper, I really get you, I know you. Even if we don't talk regularly, we can pick up in 6 months on Voxer or when you're in town and just it's that experience of feeling like, wow, I feel like I am going deeper at a level with you that I do with people that I may see in the day to day.
Yeah.
It's just a connection. So I was really grateful, Laura, when you said you want this book to remind people to have us look around and see our abundance. That chapter in particular, I was like, I am so lucky that when I'm reading this chapter, I'm thinking about how many people in my life can sit in that chair on my life council. But I think also I probably fill that role for others.
That's pretty rare, Kelly. The soul sister, as I wrote about it, is something that sometimes people only have like once in a lifetime. I believe you because I know you and I know how you connect deeply with others. What's unique about a soul sister, the most unique of any of the other life council members, is that it requires that it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So with some of these other friendships, like you might be someone's business bestie, but they might not be yours, just how you think about it. The mentor role is a little bit of a one-way street, that kind of thing. They're all a little bit like that, or can be. The soul sister, it sort of has to be mutually agreed upon that we are deeply connecting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that feels like that's like a chemistry thing. That's one of the things that is akin to dating. You can date like a lot of people, but then when you have this different feeling with one person, you really notice the difference. Oh, our connection is different. That's like what a soul sister is in friendship. And it's really special. It's really special. If you are feeling that connected to other people, then you are connected like to the universe, to like greater good. I feel that, Kelly.
Yeah. I do think it's really cool when it is like a chemistry thing. And because maybe I'm at the age I am, or having seen it before, I don't feel as weird about calling it out at some point and being like, why do I feel so in sync with you? What is happening here? And then if the other person is like, me too, what's going on? You're like, okay, it's not just me. There's something that's outside of us that is pulling us together for a reason. And so we're trusting it. And we're just like, this is going to be a friendship that matters to me and that I want to invest in. Yeah. And so it is really special. I believe you when you say that it's rare. And that's why I feel so lucky in this area.
I think that we all too often reserve the idea of love at first sight for romance or intimate relationships. But I do think there are absolutely those friendships that spark in a love at first sight or a first conversation in line at the apple orchard kind of situation. So that's so good, Kelly. I loved hearing that. And I am confident that many awesomes, especially those who have been with us for a long time, would absolutely be like, oh, I experience you that way in my earbuds in our parasocial friendship that we have. So good. All right, Rebekah, let's hear from you, my friend. What seat do you fill?
Okay, so as I was going through Laura's book, I chuckled a bit when I got to the chapter titled The Fellow Obsessive, because I thought to myself, this sounds like something I might relate to. And I was right. So I would say that the fellow obsessive is definitely a seat that I fill for more than one person. And in fact, then as I read the chapter, and then while I was doing prep for this episode, I took a break to grab a snack, and I happened to hit play on a Voxer message from a friend, and she was reaching out because she wanted, and I quote, a full dissertation on The Bachelor.
It's almost like she knows you.
I was going to say, she knew exactly where to take that request. Yes.
She said, I really have never watched. I don't quite get it. I know some people really do. Can you please tell me like literally everything? And I laughed so hard because I literally was just going through all of my prep for this episode. I was like, yes, this is the confirmation I needed. I am the fellow obsessive. Do you want to take a deep dive into an obsession? Sign me up. I will drown in it with you. I absolutely love finding outlets for each of my obsessions, people for each of those, and I collect them like trading cards, or maybe even more accurately, like stuffed animals, because each one brings me comfort.
Yes.
Comfort in knowing
yes.
Comfort in knowing that I'm not alone. Comfort in knowing that I am not the only crazy one.
I love that.
And I have a couple examples. I'm sure all the awesomes are already listing tons of examples in their own minds of ways that I'm obsessive. But I think the year was maybe 2007 or 2008, and I was obsessed with couponing. And I went especially hard on couponing at CVS. And on Black Friday that year, I woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning to meet a friend at CVS. And it is the one and only time I have ever woke up early for Black Friday.
I have known you for so long. I don't think I've ever heard this story before, and it's amazing.
For the record, lines at CVS at 6 a.m. on Black Friday, non-existent. There was no need. There was no need. I don't even remember what we bought. It probably was like shampoo, toothpaste,
but like 5 of them.
But you got those Black Friday deals. You sure did.
It's one of the stupidest things I've done for an obsession. And then just yesterday, a friend asked me a question about sheer nail polish. Oh. And I proceeded to leave her a 9-minute long Voxer message detailing every single thought I have ever had about sheer nail polish.
I forgot about your nail polish obsession. I can't believe I forgot.
I literally have found people who will be outlets for every single one of my obsessions. I don't even know if I could count how many fellow obsessives I have on my personal life.
It's a very big chair.
My obsessive, oh my word. It is a huge lounge. It's just full of people willing to indulge me on all of my crazy thoughts.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny.
The thing about the fellow obsessive, which, fun fact, I almost left this one out of the book.
Oh gosh.
How tragic.
So when I was like early stages of the book, brainstorming different types of friends and different seats and whatever, I was hesitant to put that one in because I was feeling a little sensitive about maybe the word obsession, being obsessive,
right.
like that it could tip into a dark quality. And I was didn't want that to come through.
Yeah.
So I was on the fence about it being one of the final 10. And my editor was like, oh no, that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And as I have been talking about the book this last month or so, people who are able to read it early or whatever, they're also really connecting to that one. And so that's a side fact. But the thing about the fellow obsessive that I really love is that it's fun. And a lot of times when we're talking about friendship in a serious manner, we are talking about like connection and breakups and angst and navigation and all of these things. And we don't give a lot of credence to the best part of friendship, which is fun.
Yes, ma'am.
But that's not part of this like philosophical conversation around friendship. And so I love being like, you know, what's awesome about friends is the fun part. Not just that they make you laugh because they're funny people, but because it is very enjoyable to be mutually obsessed with something.
Yes.
Like it's fun to just deep dive on the thing.
Yes.
And why don't we ever talk about that part? Fun doesn't have to mean you go on big trips together. It doesn't have to mean this grand thing. Fun is just a good Voxer deep dive.
Yes, it absolutely is.
9 minutes about sheer nail polish.
That is fun. And I would be remiss, and I know Awesomes Everywhere are about to like just speak these words out loud with me, but if you want to really explore, if you want to deep dive on the deep dive friend and the power of community, of course, you have to read. This is not a book about Benedict Cumberbatch by Tabitha Carvin, which we talked about a lot last year. One of the most important books I've read probably in the past 5 years, because it's about that very thing, Laura. Just that how much depth of fun and experience it brings to communities, to relationships. Great. Okay, I guess that leaves me, and I did see myself literally on a lot of pages in the book.
But like literally, I even say it in the book. I'm like, when I write about you, which I write about you as the password protector in my life, because I had to put you officially somewhere, but I put in there, actually, Meg is my friend that fills all of these seats. And we have been that to each other in the last 30 years. And so literally 30 years. But anyway, I do want to say you are all over this book.
It really is. I think that for each of these seats, I'm like, yes, I can see myself in these different roles. The one I want to talk about is the very first one, fresh out of the gate, that you discuss in the book, Laura. And that is, hold on, I forgot. Let me make sure I say it right.
Daily duty.
Yes. That is the daily duty friend. And I'm going to actually pull out your description of it to read, Laura. It says from your book, as the name implies, a daily duty friend is someone who is part of your regular everyday life, not a long distance friend, not a special occasion, girls' night every other month friend. She's a friend who doesn't blink to see you without a bra in mid-afternoon, who doesn't pause in speaking as she tiptoes around the toys and laundry that litter the family room floor. Why are you spying on me? That's so rude. She's the friend who has memorized the days you get off work early, or who grabs an extra bottle of your favorite shampoo when it's on sale and then leaves it randomly on your kitchen counter without explanation. This is how pop culture depicts adult women friendships all the time. But the daily duty friend is a pretty special relationship. If you happen to read this description and think, this sounds like most of my friends, then consider yourself lucky. And, I just got chills reading that. That is the perfect that is the perfect way to describe the daily duty friend. And I do have one specific friend who I talk about a lot, and I talked about her with you, Laura, on our Secret Tapes recording. And that's my best friend, Catherine. We have been friends, just to give you context. We were like close friends in middle school. We were close friends in college, but our adult friendship is where we really became the daily duty friend for each other. This has been over 10 years. Catherine has seen me without a bra in mid-afternoon more times than I can count. And I have seen her that way as well. No makeup, fresh from the shower. I've opened the door with a baby in my arms more than once with like tears running down my face. Like, she is the person who has seen me in that way. She's the person that when I'm going to Costco, I'll be like, I'm going to Costco. Do y'all need some more of those chicken nuggets everybody likes? And you just pick up a bag. But she and I for each other, and I know that I feel this in her life counsel as well. We talk constantly through the day. We talk across all of the platforms that are available. And that's my go-to person for just the minutia of the day. I think I even talked about her in that episode years ago, calling her my freezer friend, because that is the level of daily intimacy that we have, where like we would be on Voxer literally as we're driving to the grocery store talking about what we're going to make for dinner that week and what we had in our freezer that we could pull out and make for dinner. And I think that the thing that I've thought about so much since reading the book, Laura, in that chapter especially, is that it is easy to take that kind of friendship for granted when you've had that kind of friend in your life, or you've been that kind of friend for somebody for a while. And it's become so incorporated into the rhythms of my day to have a daily duty friend and to be a daily duty friend who listens to, I would say I know more about the health history of Catherine's husband and children than many of their healthcare providers do. Like, I could be giving diagnosis and writing prescriptions at this. But I was just thinking about how that's so easy to take for granted when it's just something you have. And I do think that it's become a little bit more unusual in this modern era because it is the kind of friend that you need the physical proximity to. It doesn't have to be. And I certainly have had friendships that mostly lived in Voxer or over text, or back in the day over email, when we just couldn't be in that same physical space. But those friendships that are actually in person are so huge. And I think a lot of us might be missing that, especially in these post-pandemic days. Yeah.
Okay. So 3 things about the daily duty friend. First, most of us, when we make friends in our earliest part of life, are daily duty friends by nature. So when we are making friends at school that we see all day, every day, 8 hours a day, those are daily duty friends. Maybe you have a deep connection, maybe you don't. But this is how we first experience friendship for the most part. Then that's what friendship looks like for the first almost 2 decades of your life. And then when you get into adulthood, you don't understand the gap of why adult friendships are hard. And it's because you don't have someone that you see 8 hours a day, whether you like them or not. Yes. So I do think that trajectory of relationship is what fuels us feeling a scarcity. That where are all my friends? I used to have friends all the time. Now I don't. And I think it's natural, but it definitely feels like a gap in your life. Secondly, I did not have a daily duty friend until I was 40. 40. So if you don't have, as a child I did, but in adulthood.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that, but you feel like that's what pop culture tells you all friends are like, or the friends that are over at your house every day and walk in without knocking and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of us do not have that. I did not have that in my late 20s. I did not have that in my 30s at all. That is not what my early married life and parenthood looked like. I wanted it deeply. I craved that. I did not get that until I was 40, and my daughter joined a club sport. A friend that I was already dear friends with stepped it up and became someone I talked to every single day. We became one another's daily duty friends. And then lastly, I want to say about daily duty friends, you have a deep connection with Catherine and a deep history because you've known each other for so long. But the nature of daily duty friends is only dailiness. So it does not have to be someone that you feel a deep connection with or that you have a deep history with. This is why I want people to look at the landscape of their lives.
Yes.
Who do you actually see daily that can be a daily duty friend? This might be another mom at carpool. This may be a crossover with someone at your workplace, like someone that you literally see daily, a neighbor, like circumstantially, that you can elevate in your mind to be like, actually, if I'm going to see this woman every single day, maybe we should talk a little more. Maybe we should notice if we're not in our work clothes and in our pajamas instead, that maybe something's happening there. Like the dailiness is what is special.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we dismiss people who are in our lives daily, that a neighbor, a coworker, a fellow mom. We dismiss them because we've already made a judgment of like, not really my type of person. I'm never going to have a deep chemistry connection with this person. I've already made that judgment. And so we dismiss the power in seeing someone every single day.
Yeah.
It just has its own intimacy. That is an intimacy.
Absolutely.
Right? Like even if it's not soul deep.
Yes.
And so I just want people when they're reading about daily duty, it doesn't have to be magical. It just has to be daily.
Yes. Yes. Such a great point. Such a great point. Okay. We've talked through the seats that we fill on the life counsels of others. I think that we want to balance it out by talking about the very realistic nature of friendship. Is that sometimes we might read Laura's book, or we're just looking around at our life and we see some seats that currently aren't filled, that we're like, okay, I'm open, universe, bring me this kind of friend. And so we want to talk about the friends that we're looking for to fill seats on our life council. And we'll do that when we come right back. Okay, we are back. And like I said before the break, we are talking now a little bit about, hey, I know what these life council seats are. Thank you, Laura, for defining them. And we can see this in our lives. But I think every single woman, if sat down and said, let's talk about where your friendships are, would say, yeah, I've got a seat or maybe multiple seats that are empty. And I think it's very empowering. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Laura, you gave us such a good vocabulary to work with. It's very empowering to be like, okay, now I know that what I've been craving when I say I don't have any good friends or my friendships, I want to work on friendship or whatever. Now I know specifically what it is that I'm missing. So Kelly, let's talk about for you as you look at your life council.
One of the
where's
friends
an empty
that Laura
seat that you would
defines
love
in the
to
life
see
council
filled?
is the password protector, right? That's what I'm getting. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Yes, you. Meg is in that chapter for Laura. She's one of the people that fills that position. And I do remember this was one of the things you talked about way back on the Sorta Awesome episode, right? Of 10 things or 10 friends that every woman should have. And even then I was like, huh. And so reading the book now, I still think that is an open seat on my life council. And I've been wondering why. I think that for me, and it's an interesting thing, for a long time in my life, and even still now, most of my closest, like in real life friends do not do what I do. They are not interested in digital. They're not interested in journaling. They are not writers. They are not creatives in that way. I almost have, it's not a very clear line, but I have like online, most of my creative friends are not in my circle in my real life. So I have found them. I do have them. I have you guys. I have those friends came at me in a digital sense, like that. And then sometimes, as in the case of this, they have blossomed. And yes, I have met you in real life, except for Rebekah. And we're sorry. We'll get there someday. At the same time, those are the people who I feel like the password protection, like that understand. Some of my closest friends in real life are still like, oh, I just don't know the computer. I don't really do social media. And so we just don't, there's like a whole big gap, and that's fine. Yeah. I don't care, but we don't talk about those things then because they're not watching TikTok and it's just not a thing that we share. We share other things. So I guess I haven't bridged the gap to find the person who I would say, here, you can be the keeper of my almost like digital secrets, right? You're saying like, you are the person who's the backup. I trust you. And I also know you get this world. So yeah. And it is definitely one of those things that I think is super important to think about, because I'm at this age where, having had parents die, like the idea of what happens to your digital self when you're no longer able to access it is super important, and something that I don't think we talk about enough. Like, we're just kind of still getting there. Yes. Most of the generation and even the older boomers and things that are dying, they didn't have a huge digital footprints. When my dad died, we had to clean out his house. We were cleaning out literal things. Like, we still have his computer, and he was pretty tech savvy for being somebody his age. Something to think about, and something that I thought I just need to think about how to almost integrate some of these friendships in different ways.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
So the password protector is both literal and metaphorical. And it's one of the reasons that I gave this seat to Meg in the book is because, like you said, Kelly, most of my friends are either like online type of friends, they're doing online work and that's where we connect, or real life, mom life, childhood friends, whatever. And I also kept them pretty separate. What was really unique about my friendship with Meg, and has been for decades now, is that we intersect on both of those things. And it has made us even closer over the years. I also trust implicitly the way that she is online, the way she conducts herself online, basically. And then also I trust her with my passwords, that she would never abuse that knowledge in any way. So it's a multi-leveled thing. But for the average person who's not even working online, I do think it is important that you have someone who, in the event of a tragedy or an emergency, can log into your stuff, can be a spokesperson if they need to. This might be a family member. This might not be a friendship. But like for me, Meg is my designated person on Facebook. If there's something that goes awry, she's the little contact that actually Facebook lets you add that person. And then there's also, I've created a document that has my passwords in it that Meg or my husband could access if they needed to, if I was unavailable. And yeah, I do think it's an important relationship and not one that's talked about much.
It'll work out.
We'll never need that. It'll all work out.
It is quite a modern turn in friendship for sure. But I do think it is really important. And I do think if you are close with someone who either had a tragedy happen where they were just like not able to communicate anything, or did pass away, and you've seen the fallout from that, it is like a little jolt of, oh my gosh, I need to get this lined up. So that's a good one, Kelly. Rebekah, how about for you? What is a seat on your life council that you're open to being filled?
For me, it would be the daily duty friend. Okay. And I think the reason I say that is because looking back on those college years, I absolutely loved having those really close, intimate relationships, and certainly went through a bit of a grieving period after graduation and having that go away, and then having to find those relationships and seeing the shifts that happen there. I think I try really hard to recreate this for myself truly through Voxer messages. I have a lot of really close local friends, but none of them live like actually in my town. We're not actually seeing each other every day. We might be talking every day. They might be a freezer friend that knows what I have in my freezer or what I like at Costco, but I'm not actually seeing them every day. But after listening to Laura talking more about the daily duty friend, I'm actually thinking my most recent daily duty friend might have been my furnace friend. He was here so often. And one of my friends said to me, she's, oh my goodness, I completely forgot that I was having this repair person come to the house, and I came downstairs and I was just wearing workout clothes and my hair wasn't done. And I was like, oh, honey, Lester, let me tell you about my relationship with Lester. He has seen me in all kinds of states of getting ready. I've been in my pajamas. I've been like with my hair all wrapped up in this curly thing. I've been like all actually like nice and dressed well. And when he left this last time that I saw him, I said to him, we have really spent a lot of time together in my basement. Trust me, I never want to see him again. I am so sick and tired of my furnace giving me trouble. This has been, I'm not going to get into it, but it has been so long. But anyway, Lester is probably my most recent daily duty friend, but I'm open for a new one.
And your platonic trauma bond, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What if you had been like, Lester, you're now on my life council?
Just so you know, this isn't the last you've heard from me, just because I'm going to need to know what happened with you and Helen, like the things that you hear of people. And you're like, I don't want to know how the story is.
Trust me, Lester knows how nuts I am. I at one point said to him, I was like, listen, I am freaking out. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to tell you what I'm scared of, and you need to tell me that everything's going to be okay. Yes. And that's where we're at with this conversation. Like, we got that honest with each other. All about
Lester was like, okay, and so you're an Enneagram 6
It said that he literally
let me help you with your worst case scenario.
Can you imagine? Do you know the Enneagram? And you'd be like, sit down. We're having coffee.
Forget the furnace. I'm pouring you a cup of coffee. Let's talk. Oh my gosh. I really love that. And yeah, I do. Laura, I love the way you reframed the whole daily duty thing. It could be somebody who you do see on the regular. For me, the friend that I really would love to fill, and it's been vacant a long time, you guys, is the new friend. When I read the book and I knew that we were going to be thinking about who do we want to have fill a seat on, or what seats need to be filled, I was like, oh, that's not true. I've got my friend Grace. She's a new friend. You guys, Grace and I became friends over 4 years ago. There could be some freshening of the friendship circle here. Laura, I love in the book that you tell the story about something that happened with you and your new friend at the time, Jenna, your good friend Jenna, who many of us might like to be good friends with, might recognize. But you had gone to an event that Jenna had invited you to. It was in a political context. And there was some, as political conversations tend to be, maybe a little bit heated conversation. And that Jenna's approach to it was one of just curiosity. And like, she didn't know your whole backstory and growing up in Oklahoma and all of these things that come that you were still carrying as this is who I am at the time. Or who I was, how I grew up, and that she was just curious about it. And that you write about Jenna, you said, I realized that a new friend is so much more likely to let you change. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sentence leapt off the page at me, because I think so many of my friendships are people that I have known for a long time. And I get so comfortable in that. Again, to go to Enneagram theory, as a 9, I love comfort and I love predictability. I think that growing up with a sister, my sister Emily, who's 14 months younger than me, we have always filled that deep, close friendship for each other. There's all these things, dynamics that can allow us to get into this place of this pattern of not really making new friends. And I had to have a little, not confrontation, but a little conversation with myself about why do I not make very many new friends? And I just, obviously we're coming off of a pandemic. And so that kind of dampened the new friendship vibe for a while. I understand that. But really and truly, that chapter was so powerful to me. And it really did make me think, okay, I could make some space for some new friends in my life. So thank you for that. That was really a great insight.
Another thing I say in the book is old friends get all the glory, but new friends can change your life.
Yes.
Because we don't talk about how valuable a new friend is. And I actually think your friend that you've only had for 4 years, that still can fall into new friend territory, especially with the pandemic sort of being wedged in there. But it's like, how long is a short stick sort of thing of if most of your friends are 20 years old in your relationship, then a 4-year-old friend is still new to you. So I think that still counts. We're not going to be making new friends every few months, most likely. You know what I mean? Yeah. So every few years, I think a new friend. The story with Jenna was actually a charity event. It wasn't a political event, but it was the spring of 2016.
Oh, that's why. So, okay, yes. I got it confused in my mind, but yes.
So there was a lot of political talk happening in the spring of 2016. And I was in a deep turmoil in that time. As I've talked and written about, I was radically changing my belief systems in a lot of ways. And a lot of people were. The country was really rumbling in that moment. So a big political discussion sort of came up at the table. And then later, Jenna was like, why were you so emotional? I was like crying in the ballet line, not out of anger, it wasn't a bad political discussion. It was just emotional. And so she, out of curiosity, as a new friend would do, would be like, what's going on with you? Yeah. And so then I said, I have always been this and I'm changing to this. And it feels like leaving behind a whole life. And I got to explain that to her in a totally different way than my old friends are receiving that information. They're she's receiving it different. And also I get to present it different to a new friend. Yeah. And new friends see you where you are right now. Yes. They see you for this person that you have probably fought pretty hard to become. And they are not carrying all this old baggage of holding you to who you used to be.
I love that.
And I just think we don't talk about like how good that is. Usually we talk about new friends as, oh, this is a slog. Like I have to get to know someone new. Or we talk about it in a way of they're a new friend. It's not that deep, whatever. We talk about it in these ways. that don't give it a reverence. And I wanted to give new friends like a reverence, to be like, no, y'all, new friends was like the key to our growth.
Yes.
Is the key to us moving forward, is to making new friends in the space, in the direction that we're headed.
Yeah. Wow. Got chills all over again. That is such a good word about friendship. Before we wrap up, Laura, you've spent all this time, these years, thinking about friendship and writing this book. I'm just so curious. Is there any open seat on your life council?
I've had an open seat off and on for a while. It's never been fully filled. There's never been a strong butt in that chair.
Some Velcro, girl. Some Gorilla Glue.
The seat has grown cold.
And that is the mentor. I have always wanted like a traditional mentor in a career space or in a parenthood guidance space. I've always wanted like the mentor of the movies. You know what I mean? Like that really imparts their wisdom upon you and tells you what to do. Now, I write about mentors that I've had in my life that were people that I aspired to be more like, older than me. And so I was like, oh, I want my life to look like this in 10 years, whatever. One of them's Chrisanne that I already talked about, who inspired the whole title of this book. She's a wonderful kind of mentor to me indirectly. I've always wanted like a formal mentor relationship. Like, you're the mentor, I'm the mentee, and I'm soaking it in. Especially in a business sense, professional sense, I want someone to just be like, here's what you need to do.
Yes. Wouldn't that be so wonderful? Yeah.
That I am a very here's what you need to do person. Like, I say that, those words come out of my mouth all the time. And I think we are like, in a love language way, we love on people the way that we want to be loved on. And I am very bossy to people in my personal life, like as a way to love on them. I want to fix this for you. Here's what you need to do. I crave someone saying that to me. And I do not have any real bossy friends who speak to me that way. And I'm not conflating a little bit what a mentor is, but I guess I just want someone to offer like actual direct guidance.
Yes, absolutely.
And I have never really had.
I get it. I do. And I think a lot of us are looking for that as well. Laura, this was so good. Thank you for bringing this book. Thank you for sharing the book with us ahead of time so we could give it a preview. Tell the people where we can find you and where we can find the book and when it officially comes out and just everything we need to know.
The book officially comes out April 4th, 4/4, because I'm a weird person about numbers and I chose that date.
I love it. 4/4.
It's called The Life Council, 10 Friends Every Woman Needs. You can learn more about the book and you can pre-order. If you want to get the bonuses, you can buy from your favorite retailer, all at thelifecouncilbook.com.
Perfect.
If you want to follow me, my favorite place is on Instagram at Laura.Tremaine. You can find links to all of these things at lauratremaine.com. It's also probably the easiest.
Perfect. Love it. Thank you so much. Kelly, if we want to talk with you on social media about any topic under the sun, where can we find you?
On Twitter, you guys. It's still going. So I'm still there. It still exists. Hasn't imploded yet.
Still exists.
Kelly Gordon MN. And you can also find me at a website if you're looking for recipes, kellygordonmn.com.
Awesome. Rebekah, how about you?
My website is simplyrebekah.com. And then my favorite place to hang out on social media is Instagram at simplyrebekah.
Okay, you can find me on social media sporadically. That's awesome, Meg. Don't forget, though, if you are headed to the Eras Tour or if you know somebody who is, come over to megtietz.substack.com and get signed up for the Bejeweled newsletter. I would love to have you join the Bejeweled community. If you're looking for Awesome, just search Awesome, whatever platform you're on. You can find us, and we have links in the show notes for you guys. Laura, thank you again so much. This has been fantastic.
I loved this so much. Y'all are amazing. You truly are.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see y'all next time.